Tolerance. The word tolerance is messy and misused. Whenever someone simply speaks what he honestly believes is true, he may be labeled as intolerant, especially if he is talking about his religion. Obviously, if God is the maker of everything, then he must be the lawgiver too. People are able to think, and we know right from wrong, so we need a moral law from our Creator. If we believe the Bible, then we should see that it is God's rule book for us. Man-made laws are always imperfect, but God's laws are perfect. God is holy, so his laws can be understood and are meant to be carried out. When we say tolerance, do we mean that God's law should sometimes be ignored? Is intolerance simply claiming that humans should obey God? Seriously, if God has given us rules, then shouldn't we follow them? If anyone says that imperfect people are not qualified to enforce God's perfect laws, then they need to remember that God, right in his law book, expected flawed people to carry things out. For example, about murder. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed. Genesis 9:6. And about idolatry. This is what you are to do to them. Break down their altars, smash their sacred stones, cut down their Asherah poles, and burn their idols in the fire. Deuteronomy 7:5. Still, some will say that people disagree about what the Bible's rules mean, so they can't be enforced. Would any country on earth let us get away with that? Would the police where you live? Politicians and police officers are imperfect men, enforcing their imperfect laws, but they expect obedience. A law that can't be carried out is no law at all. If we object that nations can make understandable laws, then we are back to accusing the maker of the universe of being unclear. People may disagree extremely about the Bible's deeper doctrines, but the problem is with people, not the Word of God. Anyway, the Bible's clear practical rules about crime and punishment are meant to be obeyed. Will we even admit that God is able to give understandable laws that we can act on? Do our flaws make us unable to be held responsible? Is rebellious disobedience the quick and easy way out of our duty to obey him? People these days often claim that God's laws are for individuals, not society. But why? Can't he make rules for groups as well as the individual? God created society when he said that it was not good for Adam to be alone, and he made Eve. The next objection that arises is that our view gives the Bible a special place. Doesn't the atheist or the agnostic have the same rights as a Bible-believing Christian? Yes, we do give the Bible preferential treatment. Yet we also all have the same rights. All rights that are really rights are sacred. If a murderer has the right to a fair trial, we must guard that right. But does he have a right to murder? And God doesn't give unbelievers the right to reject him. If God has the right to command us, then we don't have the right to rebel. Let us not confuse his patience with pluralism. Nobody has the moral right to disobey God. Modern people think that for God to govern is tyranny. But we are mistaken when we think that everyone has a right to believe whatever he wants as long as his conscience feels good about it. To command against the conscience is persecution, we think. But the conscience is not some law book or magic source of morals. Our conscience is simply the part of our soul that makes us feel good when we do right and feel bad when we do wrong. But we need God's law to tell our conscience what right and wrong actually are. Many people have wrong ideas of what is good and what is bad, and they feel perfectly fine while they hate God and hurt others. If we have been taught wrong, we may feel guilty when what we've done isn't wrong, according to God. The conscience is a fallible judge and jury, but it is not the law itself. When all is said and done, we simply cannot have a God-given right to disobey God. He is the ultimate authority, and he will not share power with rebellious humanity. Yet we have actually come to the point where disobeying God's law is called a right. God has spoken, and nobody's conscience has any right to say no to him. No nation or society has any right to reject God. Consult God's instruction and the testimony of warning. If anyone does not speak according to this word, they have no light of dawn. Isaiah 8:20. This is adapted from James R. Wilson's essay on tolerance. Thank you.